Good morning, everybody. I'm thinking of lots of things I'd love to do with you today, but I'm so moved by the poem that Paul read. Thank you. I and then seeing Gail's background, I feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to be there with the rain coming down. And it just reminds me of how meaningful that is to just remember. Hmm. So I thought I would share with you today something I enjoyed enormously that I listened to yesterday. We all, when we can, kind of squeeze in webinars or things online. And I listened to one a couple of days ago that I just loved. So I wanted to share a little bit of it with you and a couple of, I think many of you have heard of this thing called metta phrases or wishes for somebody else's well-being, and how that can be a nice thing to hold in your heart, even if you don't say the words out loud. And I reheard a version of it a day or two ago that I learned years ago. And I love this so much that I wanted to share it with you. But I'll start with the beginning of the talk I was listening to. They said that we're in a tsunami. We're into ocean images a lot, right? We're in a tsunami of uncertainty now. And that we can perhaps use this time to strengthen our purpose and our wholeheartedness and have a view that is liberating for ourselves and for others. I think to me that's so inspiring. It's at a time when we hear so much closing down and contracting around fear that I think this means so much. And then another expression that I love that I want to share with you, and I truly love this one. By the way, all of these things are coming from a place that I did a lot of my chaplaincy training, and someone named Joan Halifax that some of you already know, or perhaps you've done some trainings with her, and Frank Ostaseski, who did a lot of work in San Francisco. So another one that Joan Halifax came up with that I just love, she said, we need to have a strong back, the strong back of equanimity, of being grounded, and a soft front, an open heart. Isn't that interesting? And she said, I think truly a lot of people, things become so fearful that we tend to armor our hearts and step back to keep ourselves safe, which makes sense. But then we sometimes can accidentally separate ourselves from what we care about the most. But actually, we can have an open heart and come closest to what we care about most, but keep a strong back so that we're not swept away by overwhelm, and we're also not distanced by getting too far away. So I think that balanced place is so meaningful, and probably everything I teach, whether it's to caregivers or clinicians, always comes back to that. How can we find some sense of balance in the middle of everything that's happening? Oh, and I'll share with you, I love this too. This is a little bit goofy, but there's an ancient word for equanimity in the Pali language, which is one of the language that is said to be an ancient language that was the Buddha's, who knows. But the word, there are a couple of words for it. One is upeka, that's fairly well known. Another is what they call a compound word. It's a word made up of three smaller words that are glommed together to make one word for the same concept. And this is the one I like. The sound of it is tatra maja tata, and it means standing in the middle of things, poised in the middle of things, in the middle of everything. So I think that's so much what we do, and that's so much of that strong back and open heart. So what I'd like to share with you are a couple of phrases that are metta phrases in from Joan Halifax, and I've known these for years and I just love them. So they're not the usual ones. It's not may you be well, may you be healthy, although I think those are great too. This one is, may I offer my care and presence, even though it may be met by gratitude, indifference, anger, or anguish. May I offer love, knowing I cannot control the course of life's suffering or death. May I find the resources within to truly be able to give. May I offer my care and presence, even though it may be met by gratitude, indifference, anger, and anguish. May I offer love, knowing I cannot control the course of life's suffering and death. May I find the resources to truly be able to give. So I offer those to you as a gift for the day. I hope you're still remembering to hydrate, what I talked about last week, and to pee if you have to, and to get something to eat when you're hungry. Thank you.